Hi everyone, this is Paul here for the Magdalene Centre. Today I'm doing the astrology report for the week commencing the 17th of October. I'll be outlining some of the key aspects and transits taking place this week and giving an overall theme for the week. Before I do that though, I just want to clarify, as I always do, that the astrology doesn't control our lives. It merely helps us to understand what is unfolding collectively, what kind of themes and spiritual lessons are there for us to learn from, and it gives us a context for what's happening around us so we can respond to events rather than react. But we are each responsible for how our lives unfold, and by taking responsibility and taking necessary action where needed, we can learn to operate in the natural flow of the events rather than trying to control them and force things to happen a different way. And to engage with the flow this way, we avoid unnecessary drama in our lives and we go with the natural flow of growth rather than trying to fight against it. Now, with the kind of aspects we've got this week, the key theme is going to be along the lines of the transformation of the rational mind and our actions through becoming more conscious of our own thoughts and the way we perceive events, and illuminating old mental patterns that affect our ability to see things clearly and need to be let go of. So, in terms of the individual aspects, I'll start off with the moon as usual. We begin with the moon in Capricorn, so this is all about putting ideas into practice and taking responsibility for how our lives unfold. But on the same day, i.e. Wednesday, the moon will move into Aquarius. And this is a time for kind of stepping back, taking stock of our situation, how things are, the goals we've achieved, and also looking at what is our role within our individual communities and how do we help the community out, and potentially how can we do a better job of it. Before on Friday, the moon will move into Pisces, and this brings us an opportunity for us to kind of reflect, to spend time in engaging in spiritual practice, to connect with the universal flow of spirit and feel that energy flowing through us. And it's embracing that understanding of oneness at an emotional level rather than just being an intellectual concept. This also means that we have to also be mindful of how the emotions that we're feeling at a collective level and not taking it on as our own. Before Monday, the moon will be moving into Aries again, and this will be a time where we may feel that drive to take action, we may be feeling impatient about things, and obviously we need to be mindful that we don't become impulsive and impatient during this time. Now, the aspects this week that are particularly of note, we have a square forming between Mercury and Mars. This becomes exact on Saturday. So this particular aspect, it brings into highlight any conflict between our thoughts and the way we assess information and the actions that we take. So if we have a tendency to cling to one side of the square and project the other side out, then if we tend to engage more with the Mars side of things, we may act on every impulse without thinking, and therefore may end up generating consequences for ourselves that we didn't intend to happen because we didn't think our actions through. On the flip side, if we tend to veer more towards Mercury, we can end up stalling, taking any action, constantly hesitating, waiting for more information, at which point the time for taking action has passed and an opportunity has been wasted. But the thing to remember is these two functions are integral to one another. We need the Mercury side in order to gather information and then assess it to decide what action to take, and we need the Mars side of things in order to convert thought into action and to generate desires from it. So what needs to happen then ideally is during this time, this aspect will be exact on Saturday, we'll feel a build up towards it and then it will fade off again. But during this time, it's a case of observing where our thoughts and actions are out of alignment with one another. You're seeing where do we have a tendency to act impulsively without thinking it through, or where do we struggle to take action because we feel constantly hesitating, feeling undecided about something, and we lose the opportunity. So it's elevating, so bringing the light of awareness to both of them. It's bringing our thoughts and thinking patterns into conscious awareness, and doing the same for our actions. It's bringing both sides into conscious awareness and recognizing how the two are affecting one another, and bring the two into a conscious alignment. So it's converting the desires into willpower, if you like, and the thought patterns into conscious evaluation, to become more decisive, our actions are informed. And another aspect that's going to be exact on Monday is a sextile between Mercury and Pluto. So again, this will build up towards Monday and fade off again. This sextile brings us opportunities to transform our thinking patterns, our mental functions, and the way we evaluate information, through highlighting where we have old, outmoded thinking patterns in the psyche that cause us to maybe view things suspiciously or view things in a negative light, and therefore we end up with a distorted perception of things rather than seeing things clearly. So it's an opportunity for us to purge the psyche of old thought patterns in order to illuminate or achieve a more aware or conscious thinking patterns that are more empowered and based on a more realistic evaluation of situations rather than based on old thinking patterns. And one thing I want to note about the square between Mercury and Mars is this aspect is going to occur 3 times. Due to Mercury turning retrograde in November, we'll have another exact square between the two of them on 26th of November, and the final one will be around about the 8th of January. But in each time, Mercury and Mars will be in different signs, so it won't be the same square each time. This time round it's Mercury in Scorpio, so all about transforming the psyche, transforming the intellect through moving beyond just rational evaluations to trying, or just the surface level, to the deep side of things, so the core nature of a given issue. Whilst Mars is in Aquarius and dealing with, or trying to bring the actions and desires under a humanitarian perspective. So the two together is identifying where do we seek to control things in a negative way, where do we seek to, or where do we have a clash between personal power and the need to use it at a collective level, and how can we resolve this through bringing our actions and desires into conscious union with our thoughts and the way we evaluate information. The other major aspect taking place, or the key change this week, will be the Sun is moving into Scorpio on the 23rd, so that'll be Tuesday. This obviously brings a new theme into the equation, which I'll go into a lot more detail with this in a separate video. But the Sun in Scorpio is all about that transformation. It's shining a light on the unconscious mind. It's shining a light onto the deeper levels of awareness, and it's looking to go explore the deepest recesses of the mind, to bring the unconscious into conscious awareness, to see where we need to let go of the old in order to allow new things to form. And we can see this in nature. You look at the leaves, or look at trees around this time of year, they're letting go of the old, i.e. shedding their leaves, and this then means that we're no longer investing energy into old thought patterns, we're no longer keeping our minds stuck in the old ways of thinking, and we recognise what parts of our lives have served the purpose and no longer belong, and then let go of them. A key gift or key tool for Scorpio is forgiveness here, because forgiveness is all about letting go of old attachments. It's whether it's forgiving other people where people wronged us, or forgiving ourselves where we've gone against our own nature or done something that we're not proud of. And it's learning to, through forgiveness, let go of the old, let go of the psychological attachments, and make space within our psyches for new growth to form, for new empowered dynamics to emerge. This is also a time for evaluating what is our relationship like with control. Do we feel like we have to control our situations? Do we feel like we're constantly we need to control other people? Or is this something we can let go of? Are we able to explore the deepest recesses of our minds, to get in touch with those deep primal emotions, and learn to embrace them, allow them to flow, allow them to come up into our conscious awareness rather than constantly suppress them, and then integrate these deep and powerful emotional currents into our psyches. Because with Scorpio, the end goal is to be living in the present moment. It's shedding the past, it's letting go of obsessing over the future, and learn to live in the present moment where we can evaluate things clearly. We're not basing things on the past or worrying about the future. We're living in the present moment. We're living our most empowered selves, because we're not basing our sense of self on our past or trying to worry about the future. We're being who we are in the moment, and by doing this we then allow empowered relationships with other people to form, because we're no longer trying to control other people out of fear. We embrace the deeper natures of ourselves, we transform it where necessary, and we then learn to operate in an empowered way through mutual sharing in relationships and mutual empowerment dynamics in our friendships. So we seek to help one another out through the sharing of our resources, and learning to come together and work together, because this is a time of year where trying to work as an individual is not the best idea. The fruits of the harvest have already been harvested now. This is now time to work, come together, see how we can share things to make things go further, and allow the past to die away, allow the old self to die, and a new self to be reborn from the ashes. And this is a time where our intuition may be particularly strong with Scorpio, because it's about cutting to the core of its core situations, but it's not something you can rationalise away. It's not something that will conform to the intellect as such. It's something that we have to embrace at a primal level, to push beyond the ego sense of self and allow the ego to be transformed through the renewing of the mind, letting go of attachments and letting go of old power dynamics, especially where we obsess about being a victim. It's letting go of victim consciousness and allowing a new empowered self to emerge. As I said, I'll do much more on this in a different video. But overall, this is a week of transformation. It's transformation of the mind, it's transformation of the actions and the will, and transformation of the self through exploring the deepest recesses of the mind, letting go of old emotional habits or emotional attachments, letting go of old mental complexes, and transforming the mind so it becomes a receptive vessel for new insights, new ways of seeing things in a more empowered and enlightened perspective. And it's shining the light of awareness and tapping into that deep inner force at the core of our being, is that true inner power, which is the true source, if you like. And this power is obviously love, but we can only connect with this unconditional love and this true primal power at the core of our being if we're honest with ourselves, we embrace the uncomfortable truths that we encounter, and we transform our attachments, so we let go of what no longer belongs in our lives, and we're making space now for new beginnings and new empowered dynamics in relationships with each other to form. The more we do this, the more we delve into our shadow and bring the light of awareness there, and we do the transformational work of clearing out the old psychological complexes and making space for new empowered dynamics to emerge. We empower ourselves, we empower one another, we heal, we transform, we grow, and we move closer to love through the shedding of the outer layers of the being to move closer to our core nature. So I hope that's a useful guide for the week. There's a lot going on this week, but the more we can work with the energies, the more willingly we engage in the spiritual practice to shine light onto the way the mind is working, shine light on discrepancies between thoughts and actions, and through getting grounded and engaging in a spiritual practice that focuses on mindfulness and being aware of how our own thoughts are dictating the way we're acting, and bring the two together into unison so that action becomes guided by rational thinking, they're considered, and at the same time the thinking patterns are transformed through letting go of the old and embracing new conscious thought patterns that are based on reality as it is rather than our past conditioning. So I hope this useful guide for the week. May it be many blessings, much transformation and growth. Take care. May be blessed.